Call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Should we all stand for the invocation? Nancy?
Father God, we come before you tonight asking for your wisdom, knowledge, and discernment for those representing us to know your will for Princetown. We ask your peace and unity that only you can give. Thank you for working your will in our town. Bless those who represent us and their families. We pray as your word says, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. We declare this for our town. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Sandy, could you please read the roll?
Councilman Cavaldi?
Here.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Here. Councilman Gray?
Present.
Councilwoman Mora?
I think she's going to be absent tonight.
Supervisor Esposito?
Present. Also present is our town attorney Gerard Parisi and Charles Malcolm from Buffalo, who has handled the solar project for us along the way in his firm. Dan Spitzer. He was no relation to Elliot, so he's not here, but Charles is filling in for him. He's done an excellent job for us. So without further ado, a couple comments I'd like to make. I suppose everybody knows that our water commissioner is in the hospital and all we met. He had a very serious operation. It was an 8-hour operation, and he is in recovery now. We don't know how long he's going to be out, and we're certainly hoping that he has a speedy recovery. But in the meantime, people have asked about the water system. The town board has taken steps to ensure that the water system is going to be up and running as it has been. Accordingly, we have to have a responsible person in charge, a certified person that can handle the water at any time and understand the system. We only had George Meade, who was our certified person that handled the water system for the town. We also had McDonald Engineering, who sold out, and they were the backup. Being a 7-day operation, the Department of Health has told us that we have to have 2 people, a primary and a backup, for a responsible person in charge. So I reached out to the county. Since we didn't have anybody, I reached out to the county, Tony Jasinski, chairman, and he in turn contacted Rotterdam. Steve Thomasone, supervisor in Rotterdam, called me, and we worked out a deal that the town of Rotterdam is going to have 2 people from their town that will be available to check the water system. It has to be monitored. It doesn't have to be, they don't have to be here exactly every day. We've got Gene Brousseau over here who's worked for George for, I don't know, 12, 15 years. He's been handling it. We did hire another, Preston Hasbrook, to help out. So, but we do have to have a certified person that can handle the water system if there's a problem, and to take the samples, bring them to the Department of Health. We have to sign the 2 people that are going to be on board with this. It's they're called a responsible person in charge. That's the way they label it. I suppose if something goes wrong, they have somebody to go after. I don't know, but that's the way it seems to me. But they're Rotterdam is helping us out, and they're only going to do this on a temporary basis. They said that they would help us out. I guess they had a meeting last night, and they passed a resolution to have their town help us out with the water up until December 31st. So in the meantime, we're going to have to get 2 people trained in our town to help George out when he comes back, and hopefully he's gonna have a speedy recovery, so. But in the interim, we have to protect the water. So we did do this, and I can assure everybody in the district that has water that the town board has reacted to the problem, and it's under control, and there's not a problem with the water, and it's gonna be serviced just like it was before. And I wanna thank Tony Yazinski and Steve Tomaso for stepping up to the plate and helping the town out. And in return, the town, they said that we could use them as a backup at any time, and maybe down the road, they could use us as a backup. When they have a problem with one of their certified people are off, they only have two now. One is retiring, and they're in the process of training somebody else. So everything in the water department is going smooth. I want to thank Gene Russo for all of the work he's done on it. So I guess that's it. If any questions from the town board as to any of the problems that we may see. So
I met with the two guys Friday this afternoon at the pump station we have on South Hill. We got the chlorine trying to figure that out there. I met about 2 hours this afternoon down there with them. They came up this afternoon. I met with them. And,
so everything is going good.
You know, I did have a low tank level tonight about 4 o'clock, but for some reason the pumps kicked off. I got down there and they were back on again. So I see them working right now. I made deals with them to get the samples to the health department that was required. I got to send them 10 samples. So
Yeah, they did take care of it.
They were helping. They were doing that. I got to help them out doing that, and we're trying to figure out the chlorine thing on South Hill Road. We're working it out this afternoon. They were there this afternoon.
I did, like I said, I did speak with 2 people that are interested in becoming certified. They're both residents of our town. So hopefully we're going to meet with, we did talk with a retired from Rotterdam, who's been retired for 3 or 4 years, 5 years. He was their lead operator. He has all the certifications, and he did say that he would help train anybody that wanted to be trained, and he would help in that, help them get their certification. So we're going to work on that and to help George out. George is not going to want to work 7 days a week as he has been. He's been doing this since the water system has been put in, and he's been working 7 days a week. He's been on call 7 days a week, and we certainly don't expect him to be working more than 5 days. He comes back, and he should be able to take some time off as need be. So that's where we stand with the water. I just wanted everybody to know, get it on record, that the water department is up and running, and there's no problems right now, and it's going to be monitored just like it has been. So we're not going to rush George at all. So, you got anything, Jim?
No, only the licensing is a hierarchical thing. In other words, there's various levels of licenses, and none of them are easy to get. Well, they're not overly difficult, but it takes time to get each license. So it's not something that we can have somebody apply for on a Monday and be licensed on a Friday. These things take time. That's the reason why we met with a potential trainer today, because we want to get, if we have to, we want to get some extra folks trained because of the time that it takes to get trained. Some of these licenses can take up to a year. So it's very important that we get some of these things in place ahead of time, which we're working on. We worked on it today.
We're a Class C operation. Water department. Rotterdam is a Class B. They have a different license, a little bit higher grade. So we're in fine shape with that. And like I said, I want to thank them for helping us out. So, any other thing, Doug? So, okay, moving right along then. Privilege of the floor. At every scheduled town board meeting, the public shall have the right to address the town board during the course of the meeting. referred to as privilege of the floor. Members of the public should restrict their comments to items of town business, although there is no official time constraint. Speakers should be considerate of others so that all interested members of the public have an opportunity to be heard. There shall be one portion of the meeting dedicated to privilege of the floor near the beginning of each meeting. All remarks and questions shall be addressed to the board. No person shall enter into discussion with a person having the floor. Council members may address any comments during the portion of the meeting referred to as council member comments. Privilege of the floor is open up at 7:10. I guess we have no comments, so privilege of the floor will close at 7:11. Department committee reports. Highway, Nick.
No problems, everything's going smooth. No complaints. The only complaint was Route 7, somebody painted something on the highway, I don't know what it was, but somebody called about it. Sandy knows about it, they called her up. They wanted it painted over. I told you about it, Lou, and
Yeah.
it's a state road anyway, it has nothing to do with us.
That's I might add that Nick cleaned out the retention pond on Reuter Drive, used his own equipment again to do it. We're up there and he did an excellent job. Carted away the material. I guess Doug accepted it, so thank you both for doing that.
Well, how about the neighbor that wants to buy that, you want to bring that up?
Well, according to what I found out, there's just an easement for it. And I'm gonna have to speak with Gerard about that to see if they want to take it off our hands. And he wants to maintain it. I don't know if that's possible or if he would have to be liable for any problems that may arise from it. So, but I haven't had a chance to discuss this with Gerard yet, so. But, any others?
Well, that's right in his front yard, he's got all his water lines going through it and everything. So, I don't know, something should be done with it. And if he does take it over, he's gonna have to be responsible for taking care of it, right?
Yes.
We'll have to have something in writing on that. That's about it.
Okay. Any questions for Nick? Okay. Gene?
Not really. It's pretty good. So somebody's taking water out of the fire hydrant up there on Friday afternoon. The fire backed up to it. I talked to you about that. Haven't seen it much smoother now. I got to call this afternoon, a local pump, ferry, but I went out and checked it out. For some reason or other, the pump's kicked out and they were right on the line. I got out there. And else been going good. Knock on wood. They were
Where were they taking water out?
First fire hydrant on Sells Hill Road. They were backed up there with holes on it.
Yeah, Gene called me and said that the tanker pulled up over there and filled it up with water. It was from Indian Lake. The sign on it said Indian Lake, but I doubt if it was from Indian Lake. Claims he told Gene that they had it repaired down here and they were testing to see if it had any more leaks. I don't know why you would be heading west and then go north to Indian Lake, but I kind of doubt it. I'm assuming that they might have sold that tanker to somebody and they were robbing water from us. I tried calling Indian Lake about 10 times, their fire department, and I haven't had any response yet. So I'm assuming that that somebody else was in there stealing one. Maybe it was somebody filling pools or something. And
Was that the hydrant that didn't work when Johnny Van Warmer's?
No,
No, it's one, next one down below it.
it's just before it.
One below it.
I went up and talked to Carver on one of their guys, and they were gonna keep an eye out on things, and he's gonna let you know if there's a problem, if they see anybody up by the asphalt plant pumping water or down below. They were gonna keep an eye on it, so. But I can't get a hold of anybody in Indian Lake to see if it was actually them. Like I said, I had my doubts about it. Like, why would they be heading west to, when you actually have to go north to Indian Lake, so. But, so they filled up their tanker, probably 25.
What day of the week was that, you know?
Friday.
Friday, okay. Because normally a fire department would call to get permission to do something like that. We're not open on Friday, so it's possible. I mean,
Well, there was no phone messages left. Sandy didn't have any, I didn't have any on mine, so.
but normally any fire department's gonna call to get permission to do that. They would
That's
just,
why
they
I'm
would just do
thinking-
that.
That's why I'm thinking they were just stealing water. For whatever reason, it's like that maybe you're filling pools or whatever. But, okay, any other questions for
Yeah,
Gene?
Gene, if they, open up the faucets and take water out of the hydrant, if they don't turn it all the way on, does this create a problem blowing water on the bottom?
Yep.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
It
Laura
does.
was saying, cell silver.
If you don't have it fully open, it blows out the drape.
So it could do damage on the bottom then, right?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
That's interesting.
He was just, when I caught him, he was just picking the holes up, going, he's already done it. I didn't see him do it for that night, when I pulled up there.
It's a Y yoke that goes way down, all the way to the bottom, has to be sealed 6 feet under or wherever the connection is. Has to be tightened all the way. Any leakage there can undermine the hydrant.
So if you open it up halfway,
It'll undermine the
It's
hydrant.
like an OS&Y valve type of thing.
Yeah.
It goes down like this, there's the connection down here, has to be tightened. Otherwise, that's gonna leak.
I wonder if that person knew about that and took the water. If he turned it all the way on,
You have to have it fully on
yeah,
to where it don't go anymore.
it plugs up the
And then
bottom.
you got it, and it'll blow right out of the bottom if you only turn it halfway. And you would have known it because it's been coming around the hydrant.
I thought so, I was just curious about that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Gene? All right. Building inspectors, monthly report over here, total permits 3, permits issued 3, permit inspection fees collected $251, inspections 14, code zoning inspections 4, fire inspections 0, final building inspections 0, certificate of obsolete compliance 0, bank deposit report $251, check to supervisor 0, checkbook balance as of August 13, 2019, $1,249.24. Activities and zoning, working on complaints as needed, working on planning and zoning as needed, working on permit final inspection as needed, reviewing plans as needed. Thomas Verini, building inspector. If there's any questions, we can call him in. Is there any questions for Tom? Okay. You're up, Ben.
Got 2 calls. They're both for dogs that are barking, kind of obnoxious with the neighbors and running on their property. So one was up on Weast Road, the other was on Pangburn. And I spoke to the owners. They said that they would, keep a close eye on the dogs. But they're both unlicensed, and give them about a week or 2, check back with them. Check with Sandy first, see if they're licensed or not. They haven't yet, so we'll check back with them in a week or so, see what happens. That was it. We had a couple troopers called about a horse, but there's nothing I can do about a horse. Or somebody called about a cat that was on Dwaynesburg Road dead, and that's probably something the highway department will have to deal with. So you can only deal with the dog calls, according to the dog lady. Hagen Markets.
Well, what's the horse do?
Somebody passed by and thought that the horse was not cared for. And troopers called.
Pangburn Road?
I think it was somewhere in that area. It was closer to our side. But they called, and I can't do anything about any of that. That's something that the troopers probably should have dealt with. But they passed it on to me, and I called them back, just left a message that there's nothing I can do on that.
This is unrelated to Princetown, but do you know anything at all about the buffalo that escaped? Did they ever find them? Or?
No, they didn't.
They
They're
didn't find them?
tranquilizing him, they got a third of them. It was on television today.
So there's still 2/3 of them loose?
Yep.
Was that out in Rensselaer County at the Buffalo
It's
Farm?
Right on Scary.
Oh, it was a different one.
And, I think Delaware, they said.
Yeah, a herd got loose over at the Buffalo Farm. Yeah, they crossed the highway on the thruway, and then they were trying to cross the Hudson. Created a big thing.
Any other questions for Ben? All right, thank you, Ben.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Okay, court, Judge Van Wert, and she's not here, but she has her report here. The monthly report is $16,882. Number of cases disposed since 1/1/19. See attached summary report. Total cases for July 199. Beginning to draft the Justice Court Assistance Program grant, obtaining estimates for a safe for the new closet and walk-through metal detector. Need to get an estimate for shelves for the closet that will now act as a new vault for the court to include in the application. This is in response to her having to have her own safe, and she had been using the town vault, but it's getting crowded in there with all of our court records or the town's records. So it was suggested that the office down on the end be given to Michelle to put in her safe, and she's applying for a grant. And we have the old lighting in there. We had an auction. We only ended up, and the lighting is really, really in nice shape, but it can be converted to LED just by changing the bulb. But we went with the LED lighting, changing the whole fixture. They offered us $6 on an auction on a municipal auction site. We did sell the lawnmower in the garage, got $275 and another $25 for another old one, so we ended up with $300 on that auction. But I made the suggestion over here, and I called the county and asked them if they could use the lighting, because they have the same type of lighting in their office buildings. And seeing how they were nice enough to give us the land next to the town hall here, I thought maybe it would be a nice gesture if we gave them the lighting. So they're going to take the lighting, and they're picking it up tomorrow, 9 o'clock. So the office will be cleaned out. There'll only be some tables and a couple chairs in there, so Michelle will have that, and she's going to apply for the grant. I suggested to her that they apply for a grant for metal detector for the court. We do have a court, we do have a security here for court night, but I suggested a metal detector, so she's applying for a grant for that. Summary report of cases closed. If anybody wants to see it, I'm not going to read them all, but like I said, it looks like this past month she did $16,882. So the court revenue has been rising. Of course, the state's taking more and more of the money. I think they're up to 65%, 35% for the town. If anybody wants a copy of this, we can make a copy and give it to anybody who'd like to see it. She also asked that the attendance at the annual conference, she wants to get a resolution that we have to authorize her to go. I think we have the resolution in there, don't we, Sandy?
Yes.
Yes, so we'll get to that after. And every year the judge goes to this conference, doesn't matter who it is, we've been sending him, so. I guess that's it for the court, and we're going to get Doug Thorpe is going to come in and redo that room for her, so put some shelving up and see what else has to be done in there. Probably get the lock changed, because she's going to only be the one to have the lock to get in and out of there. So the assessor, Richard Tollner's off this week. Buildings and grounds, They take care of the state police building next door. Doug has been working on the redoing their processing room. The state did not like the way it was conformed. Apparently over there they were afraid that with a back to the wall of a bad guy that comes in and they got him chained, that they could do some damage or break loose or break the chain. I don't know how they would, but they wanted it changed around. So we've been complying with what they asked. He's been working on it. Took everything out, the sink they didn't want in there, and he's done some other minor repairs there. So he's working on that. Other than that, everything else in the town hall's been smooth. The air conditioning has been repaired. Lighting is good. Everything is fine. We did have a problem with the air conditioning, but that's been repaired some. Are there any questions for me? Okay, moving along, public hearings, we have none. Minute meetings, it is hereby resolved the mini meetings of July 9th, 2019 regular town board meeting are approved or as amended. Discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? Sandy?
Councilman Fawoli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Acceptance of host community agreement. The host community agreement is attached if anybody wants to see it. If anybody wants me to read it, I'll read it. I don't know.
It's long, so
It's long.
if you really want to read it, have them read it.
It'd probably take a half an hour to go through it all, but if our attorney would like to comment on it.
Yeah, so I can summarize the resolution and the attached agreement, what's before the board for your consideration. As the board is aware, there is an application pending for the town board for the creation of an overlay zoning district for a major solar energy facility. That application was also pending before the planning board for site plan and special use permit approval. All three of those approvals are required in order to for the applicant to construct and operate the system. The planning board served as the lead agency under seeker, issued a negative declaration. That concludes the environmental review. The planning board and the town board held a joint public hearing on the project. As a component of the application that was submitted, the applicant is proposing to enter into a host community agreement with the town for the purpose of compensating the town for use of its roads and other impacts of the project. That agreement has been reviewed by council. It's also been submitted to board members. The terms in general, it's a 30-year agreement, which is roughly consummate with the life of the project. Provides for annual payments in the amount of $30,000 to begin on the commercial operations date. And the full terms are spelled out in the attached agreement. In order for the supervisor to have authority to execute that agreement on behalf of the town, it requires approval and a vote of the town board. So this resolution recounts some of the history we talked about with respect to the project, its size and location, where in the town it's located, the fact that seeker is done, and that means that you are able to act because the environmental review component has been completed, and also attaches the document and authorizes the supervisor directly to sign it upon the board's approval. And with that being said, a motion would be in order if the board wanted to proceed to adopt this resolution and approve the host community agreement.
Anybody else have comments? Any other members?
No, I'm good. Doug, you have
I'll
any?
make- I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Well, you want me to read this over here? Okay. Was there a second?
I second.
Okay. Sandy?
Councilman Fawoli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Okay, resolution adopting a local law amending the zoning map to create a major solar energy system overlay district and there's an attachment to that.
Yep, so I can provide a summary of this resolution and the attachments that are incorporated into the document. As I mentioned, as part of the application, there were 3 approvals necessary: the site plan approval, the special use permit approval, and also a rezoning to create an overlay district. So your solar law requires approval of the town board to rezone an area of the town to create the overlay district, and that is the district in which these facilities are authorized to operate. The application requested this rezoning, and the land area are the parcels that make up the project. So the resolution recounts the history of the application and its contents and location, the fact that seeker was completed, which means that the board can act on this resolution now, the fact that it was referred to the county as required under General Municipal Law 239M, the fact that it was referred to the town planning board, and the town planning board recommended that the town board approve the rezoning requests. And this rezoning is being done by local law, which requires a public hearing, which the board held jointly with the town board, or I'm sorry, with the planning board. And attached to the resolution is a draft of the local law. Under New York law, the town board has the power to condition a rezoning. The planning board imposed conditions as part of their review, special use permit and site plan, and part of their recommendation to the town board was that the overlay district be approved, provided that conditions were imposed, including the ones that they recommended when they issued the special use permit and site plan approval. So the local law is attached to the resolution. It's local law number 1 of 2019. It sets forth the area of the town that is going to include this overlay district. Included with that is a map on Schedule A. So there's actually 2 maps. One is from the EAF, which shows the general layout of the parcels. The second map is from the site plan, which has a parcel boundary outlined in red. Schedule B are those conditions that there'll be conditions to the rezoning. These have been vetted by the town engineer and also the town's outside engineering consultant, as well as council. These conditions are also attached to the special use permit and the site plan that was approved by the town board. Those appear on Schedule B. And so the resolution adopts the local law. After the local law is adopted, the clerk will file it with the Secretary of State, and the zoning map will be modified to include the overlay district, which will permit the solar facility to be constructed and operated on those parcels. And with that, there's a resolution that should the board want to proceed on this local law, a motion would be in order to adopt it.
Is there any discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Golden?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Okay. Appointment of Planning and Zoning Board Coordinator. It is hereby resolved that Melanie Wheatley is appointing as Planning and Zoning Board Coordinator an hourly rate of $19 per hour, reporting to the Planning Board Chair and the Zoning Board Chair, term to expire 12/31/2021. We don't, the town currently does not have a planner. Melanie is on the planning board as an alternate. She was a former supervisor for the town. She understands all of the zoning and laws and within the town. And any large project that will be coming before the planning board, they will be reporting to her first, and she'll be telling them what they need before they can present it to the planning board. She is not going to be in charge of our building inspector. This is just to help when an applicant comes in and has a large project, and there has been one that's been trying to get into the town for major subdivision. And we understand there's another one planning on coming not too in a distant future. So I think it's a good thing over here. And planning board, it'll certainly help the planning board out instead of them coming to the planning board, sending them back what they need. And really, we had a planner at one time, and it was very costly. So we're calling it a coordinator, and she'll be doing this as needed. Is there a discussion?
The only discussion I have is this is gonna eliminate a lot of confusion and a lot of hassles for folks that wanna have a project in town. Basically, if you can imagine walking into a room with 50 buttons and none of them say start. You don't know which button to push. At least this button's gonna say start here, push. Once you push that button, the wheels start rolling, things begin to happen, directions are given, guidance is given, and there's some kind of system involved. And while she's not a planner, she is going to be a coordinator, kind of, and it's a good thing. It's a very good thing for us, and we're doing it at an expense that our little town can afford, and that's why we're doing it this way. So I think it's a great thing, and I would be more than happy to make the motion.
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. General funds claims, hereby resolved that the town.
No, you missed hiring the water department.
I missed what?
Hiring
The
water-
temporary designated.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Hiring a temporary designated operator in a reasonable charge of water department. It is hereby resolved that the town of Princetown retains the town of Rotterdam and its water department and agents on a temporary basis in the absence of the Princetown Water Commissioner who oversee the operations of the Princetown Water Department, the town of Rotterdam, and its water department and agents will act as the designated person in reasonable charge of the Princetown Water Department and conduct and ensure performance of any and all necessary duties to comply with all federal, state, and/or local laws and regulations. The town of Princetown shall pay the standard town of Rotterdam hourly rate for such services. Discussion?
On the resolution, I think you all got a copy. The town of Rotterdam sent
Yes, I
proposed
saw.
agreement at like 3 o'clock. I have not had a chance to even look at it, and I haven't discussed it with Lou or any of the rest of you. So, number one, I want to add a little bit to the resolution to approve the supervisor to execute it, but I would say make it subject to my review and approval, because no one's looked at it yet. So I hate to have you approve something now.
And that does make sense.
It may be fine, but I mean, I don't know what we're saying.
Yeah, he did send it late. The town of Rotterdam sent this late, so I copied everybody on the town board that I emailed it to him, so I don't know if
So
everybody
can we
got
add
it.
that, can we add that to our,
Yeah.
to it?
Yeah, I can write it out for Sandy, but I'll just read what I wrote out to add to it. The resolution that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Rotterdam in a form to be approved by the Princetown town attorney, and sign any other necessary documents to designate the water operator in responsible charge.
And the only other comment I have is, with George Mead out, it is the responsibility of this board to make sure that we comply with all the rules and regulations of the health department in regards to the water, and we will do that. And by making this resolution, we're going to have the help that we need to do it, because none of us here are licensed to do it, and these things do require licensed personnel. So, having said that, I would be happy to make the motion with the changes that our attorney suggested.
I'll second.
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. General funds claims, it hereby resolved the town board approves claims number 148 through number 167 in the amount of $29,920.93. Discussion? Is there a motion? Sandy, or is it second?
Second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Water funds claim. It is hereby resolved the town approves claims number 67 through number 75 in the amount of $1,840.93. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves claim number 4 in the amount of $301.38. Discussion?
I'll make the
Second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Highway transfer, hereby resolved that the town board approves the transfer of $301.38 from account number 99019 to account number 5031. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
A second?
Second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Trust and agency fund claims. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves claims number 6 through 7 in the amount of $623.32. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Sue
Susan
second.
already did.
Sue second.
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Magistrate Conference. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves the town justice Michelle Van Wert to attend the Magistrate Conference in Lake Placid, September 16th through 18th, 2019. Our former judge went to this, and we've been sending everybody, like I said, every year for this. So, discussion?
This comes out of the court budget, right? The judge's budget?
Pardon?
This comes out of the court budget?
Is this out of her budget? Michelle's budget?
Yeah, it comes out of her budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes out of her budget. Are we under arrest?
Absolutely not.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. We didn't do it. Council member comments and discussion.
I do have some comments in regards to the solar. A couple things. This is two major things with the solar. Number one, it's the largest solar project in Schenectady County. And number two, and I think even more importantly, is that it enables the landowner to have some control over his land and do what he would like to do. And that's very important because today the way things are in many towns and counties, restrictions are such that land ownership is almost a technicality. You can't do what you want. And I hope you're satisfied with your ability to get into, to go into this procedure. And I'm quite happy with the whole thing. I mean, for a tiny little town like ours, we've got the largest solar project in Schenectady County. In New York State is really making an effort to put these all over and develop solar power throughout the state. And I think it's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing, by the way, for the taxpayers in the town. We don't have a town tax, as everyone knows. No town tax in the town of Princetown. We don't even tax your cable. Most people don't know that. We don't put a fee on your cable. We don't do any of that. So our funds, the funds that we function with, are very, very limited. So in order to get this opportunity for additional funds for our operations through this agreement is great for all of us. And it's, you know, we're all committed to no town tax, and having those additional funds will ensure that probably for quite a few years to come, we aren't going to be required to have a town tax, you know, barring any unforeseen catastrophe. So for all of those reasons, I think what we accomplished here tonight which is a culmination of a long period of time's work. I think it's great for everybody involved, and I'm very delighted that it happened.
Anything else, Sue? Doug? Nick, you got anything?
No, really fine.
Okay, thank you, Tim. I don't have any other comments other than this. We have our workshops are gonna have to be scheduled for our, working on our budget for next year. Everybody's got a copy of the dates, I assume. So at the next meeting, we will set up a workshop. The estimate forms have been distributed to the department heads. September 3rd, deadline for submission of requests to myself, budget officer, tentative budget created and presented to the town clerk. September 10th, town clerk presents tentative budget to the town board. Budget workshop meeting date decided by town board. During workshop, the budget officer will make revisions to the tentative budget, creating a preliminary budget. Preliminary budget presented to the town clerk prior to the public hearing. Public hearing date must be on or before Thursday, November 7th, immediately following the general election of November 5th. Suggested date for public hearing on the 2020 preliminary budget, and it is a regular date of the town board meeting. After public hearing, but prior to adopting a final business can be made to the preliminary budget, creating the final budget for fiscal year 2020, regular town budget, town board meeting, and adoption of 2020 final budget. Latest date budget can be passed by the town board is November 20th. Is there any discussions on that? So we'll begin working on that at a later date, so got enough on our plate right now. There is one other thing, now that we had the land donated to the town next to the town hall, the PIAC committee has suggested to me that our town editor for the newsletter, I don't know if he had mentioned it to you, he wants you to put an ad, he wants you to put something in there for suggestions from the residents of the town, what could be done as far as a park or pavilion type of project that the county.
He sent me an email and I scanned it quickly and I didn't catch that part of it, but I'll review it.
Yeah, he sent it to me.
I'll review it.
I don't think he sent it, I don't know if he sent it to you.
Maybe he
asked me
did.
to ask you to see if you're interested in
Yeah,
doing that.
that's good.
Our funds are limited, actually, the only way we're gonna be able to do anything with that land, it was nice that it was donated to us, is if we received some grants from the state. And
Or maybe the feds, it's a possibility, so, I mean, that's, if we
That's
can
in
get
the
a grant.
future, that's after the budget has been completed, maybe we can sit down with our congressman and see if there's any funds available to, it's nice that we have that land next to us, though. That's certainly been a plus to the town. Thank the county again for signing it over to the town. We certainly did appreciate it. Other than that, I don't have anything. Doug, you have anything? Nick, nothing?
No.
Nothing, Sue?
No, I'm good.
Believe it or not, the newsletter is coming up again, the fall newsletter, so if anybody wants to get anything in the newsletter, right now you got plenty of time, but time does have a way of creeping up on us, so if somebody wants to get something in the newsletter, contact me, you can email it to me, you can call me, either way, we'll get it in.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second
Sandy?
Councilman Cavalli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilman Gray?
it. Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Thank you all for coming, and good luck with your project.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.